How y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Well, oh, wait a minute. Who's coming over here to join me, huh? I see my co-host over here. I see my co-host. There she is. What you doing, sweetie? You're sleeping over there, huh? That's right. Sleeping over in the chair. I saw you. All right. At Diesel Body EDC. I think I'm getting that handle right. At Diesel Body EDC. Wanted to know if you use washers in the pivots with the bearings, or like the spacer washers or whatever that come with the kits, with the bearing kits. Now on these, you gonna let me do this, Juju? You gonna let me do this? That's my girl. That's my girl. All right. On these, just to let you know, I broke out the magnet. Just to let everybody see. The liners, when you use it, and this applies to like the OG Goat kits and everything too, because when you get the OG Goat kit, it'll be a replacement for this, and so it uses all the original parts that this would use, this type of setup. It'll just be replacing the G10 scale with the aluminum scale or titanium scale if you get one of the older kits for the older knives. This is one of the original knives. This is the one that John Demko put together for me. It's just letting you know. This old D2 one. And most of mine are D2, the ones I use. I only have two that aren't D2, I think. I have this one. This one's a M390. And this kit uses the linerless titanium scales. Now in this one, I was trying to take it apart for you, buddy, but it wouldn't let me take it apart. So I'm gonna have to heat it up or something, or because it's got blue Loctite in it, but it's been so long since it's been taken apart, it was eating up the bits. So I'm gonna have to apply some heat to it to get that apart. But I wanted to take this one apart so you can see how. I don't know if you're asking a question about the new linerless type, and that's what this is. This is the new linerless type, and it has the new style of blade tang for the AD20S that's fitted to have the bearing sit inside of it. But anyway, you put the bearing inside of that, and then against the titanium, you put your stainless steel spacer. And then the bearing will go against the stainless steel right against the stainless steel spacer and the stainless steel blade tang. That's the way it should be set up when you got like a linerless titanium or aluminum handle scale. And the reason why you want to do it like that is because the bearing will wear a track inside the titanium or aluminum, and you don't want that. You don't want the bearing to wear a track in it. So it'll change it might give it side to side blade play or whatever, mess with its function. So you don't want that. So you want to use the spacers in that. On these, they have the stainless steel. They have the stainless steel liners, partial liners, like I just showed you. I didn't want Jenna to jump up here with all the parts. I know that's what she wants to do. I know that's what she wants to do. I'll tell you what, sweet, let me lift you up. Okay, you can come say hi. That's my girl. Okay, can't walk on the bearings. I'm not going to let you walk on the bearings. That's my girl. All right, you got to say hi? Huh? That's my sweetie. That's my sweetie. That's my sweetie. All right, kiddo, let's get down. All right. All right. On these with the stainless steel partial liners, you don't need to have the stainless steel washers in them because you don't have to protect them from the liners, you know, from the softer liners or whatever. So you just put the bearings straight in here. I don't use any washers or spacers in these. I just use the bearings. That's how these are set up. I'm not sure how the brand new ones are. I don't have any of the brand new models. Like I said, I only have 2 new models, and one's the LMAX and the LMAX, and the other one is this one with the M390 blade. But even these are like pretty old style now because now they have all slots. I don't really care for the slot. I got them before they had slots. I mean, well, they had slots, but they gave you a choice. You know, either slotted or non-slotted. I always chose the non-slotted ones. That's just my preference. I like the way these function because I don't really need to use the thumb set or slots or anything. I could just use the shark fin for these. That's my preference when I use these. It's just use a shark fin. That's my favorite way to do those though. Okay, let's go ahead and put this one together. I'll show you how to put them together. And this one had a little pin rattle in it, so I'm gonna put a little glue on it. Okay. Doesn't take a lot of glue, just a little bit. That's too much there. Okay. Usually the pin rattle is coming from the stop pin. I'll put a little bit on all of them, just in case it was the other ones too. And when you do this, you can always make sure you get all the excess. Get rid of all the excess. So get out a rag. I can find a rag. Okay. This will work. Now let me use this one to throw away. All right. Now we're ready for the next step. Now I'm going to lube up my bearings. I like to put a little bit of grease. This is lithium-based Militech 1 gun grease that I use. Just put a little bit on there. I like to put a little drop of oil. Next goes on the blade. A little drop of oil. Next goes on the bearings. These are Skiff bearings. One thing I want to show you guys, one thing that makes his lock bars different than, like, let's say, an Atlas lock. Y'all know my Engage, the Atlas lock. And by the way, this one uses you put a spacer against a aluminum a handle scale or a liner, or it's a handle, I guess. It would just be a handle. The handle piece, and then you put the bearings on top of that. You don't want to put the bearings right up against aluminum. But anyway, see how it has this little piece right here where it goes in and it locks up? That's what makes it different than like this. This just slides straight back. Whereas this one, you have to lift it up a little bit and then pull it back. So it's harder for it, like if you have a pommel strike or something like that with something like this, or you hit the back of your hand against something while the blade's open, it's a lot less likely to move on you. I think it's a little bit safe. It's like a safety feature that John Demko, put into it. That's his mastery of the lock. He thinks about everything. I think he makes the best locks. I don't know. I'll just say it. This what. Look at this one. That's where they put the patent number and everything on it. It's on the slide. Oh, and by the way, I'll show you everything that's made out of steel. Steel. This is the lock bar. You always want steel lock bars, right? All the hardware, well, I just glued that in, so I'm not going to pull it out. But the hardware is all steel too, people. Take my word for it. So there you go. There's one of the spacers. See, it's steel. Put it back on here. We saw the liners are steel. The only thing that's not steel is the bearings. So all these parts in this knife are steel, except for the pocket clip. The pocket clip's titanium, but then again, it's made by Lynch Northwest. It's not a stock pocket clip. If it had been a stock pocket clip, that would have been steel too. So these knives are, they're pretty sturdy, people. They're not wimpy knives. I like to lube up the springs. And put a little bit of drop of oil. I'm a person that's not afraid of oil and grease, people. I take my things apart and clean them and stuff, so. This is one of my favorite ones that gets used a lot. This one and this one are the two ones I probably use the most. This one's special to me because it was put together. I mean, it was refurbished by John Demko for me. It was an eBay purchase, and it had some issues. It had up and down blade play. So it's a special one to me. Not to anybody else, just me. And it originally had yellow groovery scales on it. I didn't like those. And I asked John if he had some different color, either a natural JG10 or the orange ones. And he said he had some orange ones. I said yes. Orange is another one of my favorite colors for pocket knives, people. I know that's kind of weird, but I like orange. I don't know, maybe it was when I was a kid. I liked oranges all the time. I don't know, I don't know. I like the color orange. I like the color purple. All right. This one you're going to need 2 T8s. It can be kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, people. Okay, finger tight. Yeah, but on these models with the liners, if you're still using the liners, these models, you don't need the spacers. The spacers are for the models with the that don't have the steel liners, that are the go up against the titanium or aluminum or something other than steel. That'd be my advice. And you could apply that to anything. If it had just G10, maybe that'd be the way to set it up too. If you had bearings, right? Because you want the bearings right against the G10. You want them right against the washers, the stainless steel washers or whatever. So you can apply. I'd apply that to anything that's not a steel liner or something. Anything with steel liners, I don't think you would need them. This one's gonna be a booger. Okay, let me get it like this, people. Urgh. Okay, we got it. All the way down, back it off just a touch. Let's see what we got. Perfectly centered. It's perfect. There you go. That's how I do them. Now, if you got the now, the only difference would be if you have one of these models without the liners in it. Let me show you the difference. Let me put some things away here. Get them out of my way. Now, if you got like one of these models, you can see the difference. They both got thick handle scales, but this one's milled out so it can still use the liners. Whereas this one removed the liners. They did a liner delete on the handle scales. So these have steel writing in here. These don't have steel writing in here. So what that means is that the pockets for the bearings, you got to have something for the bearings to write against. You don't want them writing against your titanium liners or your aluminum liners. So for these models that are linerless, without the steel liners, yes, you would need a spacer. But for these, you don't. And Original Goat makes them, that makes the scales they're either linerless or work with the liners too. At least they used to. Because I have several, Original Goats that came with, I didn't have any out today. I'm sorry, people. But like my aluminum one that I like to carry with the the shark's foot blade, not sheep's foot, shark's foot blade. That one's made just like these. Where it's just, it uses the liners. The only difference is that just has the scale, the handle scales replace that. They're made just to replace the the G10 handle scales. But for these people, to be honest, I really like the G10 handle scales. These two are the ones I carry the most. And then I have another one that I carry a lot also, and it has another clip blade on it, and it has natural J G10 scales on it with a V groove back spacer. That one I like a lot too. And the reason why I like the G10 ones over like the metal handled ones for this model of knife is because it makes it lighter. When you get the G10 handle scales, both of these have custom scales on them. Both of these came with groovery scales. These are both of these knives have been like pretty much really modified. Because both of them are, with skiff bearings. Both of them got Lynch Northwest pocket clips. Both of them got custom G10 handle scales that came from the Demko website from John Demko. These came directly from John Demko, and then I bought these off the Demko website. I bought these before they were, you could purchase them on the website. You had to buy them from, you had to, physically, contact John Demko and ask him if you can get some scales. That's how I got these. These I just bought straight off the website. But absolutely love the S model, people. The S model is my favorite knife. My favorite folder. Yes, this one is like right behind it. That one's like right behind it. But I still like this one the best. Purple Haze rocks. Purple Haze absolutely rocks. This is my favorite knife. And you know what? It doesn't have M390. It doesn't have LMAX. It doesn't have CPM S35EN. No. It just has regular old German or Austrian D2. K110 D2. And it works just fine for me. I absolutely love this knife, people. This is my favorite knife. Of all knives I've ever carried, I like this one the best. It's just easy to manipulate, easy to use, and I trust it. I trust it. I trust this like a triad lock. I trust this lock. But you know what? My personal feeling though for like these kind of locks, like like the Atlas lock or like the Shark lock, my personal feeling about these kind of locks is that I don't think that they're the best kind of lock for like super big knives. For super big knives, after experiencing the Mayhem and the 5 Max and all my other mega folders that I have, I think the best mega folder lock is the Triad lock. I don't know. It's just about something like that can swing so freely. It's sort of like, I don't know, with a big giant cleaver blade. I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know, people. Maybe I'm being too safety first or something. But I could just picture people losing their fingers with that thing. Trying to do fancy tricks and doing stuff like that. Like I always do. I might be one of those people who lose a finger. But I could just picture something happening like that. I don't know. With one of these knives, even if one, because I've been cut by these things, and when the knife hits you, you get cut, but it's not like the end of the world, and you heal up in a couple of days, and you're okay, But I think if the blade gets a little bit too heavy, that's when it might be an issue. If the blade swings too freely and the blade is too heavy, and when I say heavy, I don't mean like a little 3.5-inch blade or a 3 3/4 or 3 3.6 or 3/4 inch blade or whatever, whatever these are, under 4-inch blades. I'm not talking about these kind of blades. Sure, like maybe if they're like an 8mm blade or something, that would be heavy. But then if it swung, if it hit your fingers, yeah, that would be dangerous. But like one of these blades with a 3.3 or 3.2mm, blade stock, or like this one has a 3.8mm blade stock, something like that, that's within the boundaries. You know, like I'd say maybe up to 4 millimeters. When you go over 4 millimeters, maybe they're starting to get too heavy again. But you know, and then keep and keep them. You know, like these kind of lock types, I think work great for knives. Or like from 3-inch blades to, I would say 4.5-inch blades. And I guess a little bit pushing it for, you know, something that swings super freely like that. Because I'm just looking at it from the safety side point, you know, not from like the tactical side. I'm looking at it from like the fidgeting side. What's safe for people to fidget with, you know, because like I think when the blade gets too long and too big and too heavy, I think that might be an issue. Unless you got big giant hands, you know, then it's not too big and too long and too heavy for you. But you know, for like the average person, I think this is a perfect size. You know, to me, the Fidget Master is the AD20.5. I think that's the Fidget Master of all knives. Just because the size is so small and the knife is so light, you can just do anything with that knife. That knife, it just flies. And these knives have perfect balance. I love the balance on them. They're just, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. When you put the G10 scales on these, I think that's the best scales for these are the G10 ones. And I like the ones with the stainless steel liners. I like them put together like this. This one has original goat aluminum backspacer, custom backspacer on it that I polished. And I polished the liners. And polished the lock bar. And polished the blade. And the hardware. But this one is just like a stock knife. The only thing they did custom on this one really is the custom scales, but they're scales from, you know, Demco knives. So are these, and the Lynch Northwest pocket clip, and the bearings. And this one was sharpened by Apostle P. So this was an awesome knife too. This is the one we just did. Absolutely love these people. The AD20S to me is like, you know, is the master, is the king. This is master level when you're fidgeting with AD20s. AD20.5, AD20s, the new Cub, any of the ones with the shark lock. That's all I got to say is that, you know, they're the best knives to me. And I'm talking about the Demco shark lock. I know what's the name's doing it. I don't know if that's exactly a Demco shark lock or not, but Fly Titanium. They got a knife with the Demco, using the Demco shark lock. It looks pretty cool too. I'm tempted to try one out. I might actually try one of those out. I don't know if I will or not. But you know, because I tend to like a little bit bigger knives. I like knives with at least like a 3.5-inch blade like this. This is what I call a small knife. This is what I call like a small knife that's good for, like, you know, good size for work and everything else. That's what I call this. And I absolutely love these two, people. The Engage. If you can't afford one of these, get one of these. That's the next best thing. To me, the Engage is like the next best thing to, you know, a shark lock. You know, the Atlas lock is like the next best thing. Absolutely love them. And if the Atlas lock had the same thing where, you know, like it wouldn't just slide straight back, but it had to be lifted up, but that wouldn't work with this kind of, the way it's actuated. It needs to slide straight back because there's no way to lift it up. Whereas like on the shark lock, you grab, it's made so you grab it and you pull it up. See what I just did right there? I pulled up. That's what frees up the blade. It's not pulling it back, it's pulling it up that frees it up. Because remember how I showed you the lock bar? You got to pull it up. Anyway, I hope that'll do it there. Hope that answers everybody's questions on that. Peace out. Stiletto.